This old man's heart broke one day. He ran a small woodworking shop at the edge of town. The scent of cedar and pine always lingered in the air, and laughter often spilled through the open doors. His wife Anna would visit him with a packed lunch, smiling as she teased him for the sawdust in his beard. And his daughter, little Lily, would run between the shelves, her giggles echoing as she played hide-and-seek among the unfinished chairs. Life was warm. Ethan was a simple man. He didn't dream of riches or fame. His dream was already in his hands, a family who loved him, a craft he adored, and a roof over their heads. Every night he'd sit at the dinner table watching Anna tell stories while Lily's eyes lit up with wonder. If you had asked him then, what could possibly break you? Ethan would have said, nothing. Not as long as I have them. He didn't know how quickly everything could change. It was late, far past midnight, when Ethan awoke to the smell of smoke. At first, he thought it was a dream, but then he heard the crackling, the violent roar of flames devouring wood. He leaped from bed, heart pounding, and ran outside. His workshop, the place where he had poured his soul into every carved piece, was engulfed in a storm of fire. The night sky glowed orange. Neighbors shouted, throwing buckets of water, but the flames only raged higher. Ethan dashed forward, desperate to save something. Anything! His hands burned as he tried to force the doors open. Inside, he could see the shapes of half-finished tables, wooden toys for Lily, and the tools his father had left him. But the heat was too much. A blast of fire forced him back. He stumbled into the dirt, coughing, choking, powerless. And then the roof caved in. The crash echoed through the night. Sparks rained down like falling stars. Ethan's knees hit the ground. Everything he had built with his bare hands was gone. Anna wrapped her arms around him, whispering, "We still have each other. That's all that matters." But Ethan could not stop shaking. For weeks, Ethan tried to hold on. He took on small jobs, repairing fences, fixing barns, anything to keep food on the table. But the fire had stolen more than wood and tools. It had stolen his purpose. And then came the second blow. Anna fell sick. At first, it was small, coughs, fevers. But soon, the hospital visits began. Ethan sat for hours in waiting rooms, watching doctors hurry past, watching hope slip further away. He held her hand as machines beeped steadily in the background. Some nights, Anna would smile weakly at him and whisper, "Promise me you'll take care of Lily." And Ethan, fighting back tears, would nod. "Of course I will! But you'll be here too!" "You have to be." But fate was merciless. One cold morning, the doctor shook his head, and Ethan's world shattered. Anna was gone. The funeral was small. Rain fell heavy, as though the sky itself mourned with him. Ethan stood beside the grave, clutching Lily's hand. His daughter's tiny voice broke the silence. "Daddy! When will Mommy wake up?" Ethan's chest caved in. He could not answer. "Grief is a thief!" It steals not only the ones we love, but the will to keep going. Bills pile up. The house grows cold. At night, when Lily is asleep, he sits in the dark, staring at nothing. All he can think about is ending it all. One night, tears streaming down his face, he whispers into the silence, "I can't do this anymore. I'm not strong enough." But then a small hand touches his. Lily has woken up. She looks at him with wide, sleepy eyes and whispers, "Please don't cry anymore, Daddy. We still have each other." Her words pierce through the fog. Ethan pulls her close, his heart breaking all over again. But this time, a new resolve fills him. For her, he thinks, I have to keep going. For her, this is the second time I'm sharing this story. The first time I forgot to add the last part. Don't forget to stay tuned for more stories. With no money and no way to support his family, he started to work again. Not in a workshop. He had none, but with scraps. Bits of wood he found discarded. He carved a small toy bird for his daughter Lily. When he handed it to her, her face lit up in a smile so pure that Ethan felt hope flicker for the first time in months. Neighbors noticed what Ethan was doing and they asked him if he could carve something for their child too. And then another neighbor asked him to carve a chair for their child's birthday party. Slowly, one toy led to two. Two led to a small chair. A chair led to a table. Each piece was rough and imperfect, but they carried something no machine could replicate: Ethan's heart. They agreed, and so every evening after work, Ethan would go to the workshop. Nights were long. His hands blistered. His back ached, but Ethan kept carving. One day, he had enough money saved up to rent a tiny shed on the edge of town. It was barely big enough for a workbench, but to Ethan, it was a temple. He called it Phoenix Woodworks, because just like the mythical bird, he was rising from the ashes. Every market day, he would set up a table outside the shed and sell his furniture. Lily, now a little older, stood proudly by his side, handing change to customers. People didn't just buy his furniture, they bought his story, and that's why his business took off. Years passed. Phoenix Woodworks grew. Ethan trained apprentices. His shop became a place of learning, of second chances, because he never forgot what it felt like to lose everything. One golden evening, Ethan stood in the doorway, watching Lily now grown, teaching others the craft he had once thought lost forever. Tears welled in his eyes. He thought of Anna, of the fire, of the graveyard, of every night he almost gave up. He had lost everything, but he had rebuilt. And then he saw something. In the distance, a young boy was running full speed towards him, arms outstretched. And as he got closer, Ethan could see the familiar red hair flowing behind him like a fiery tail. And then the boy jumped into his arms and hugged him tight. "Dad, I made it." The boy looked up at him with tears in his eyes. "I'm so happy you didn't give up. I'm so happy you're my dad."